If you've ever had a gut feeling, you've experienced this type of communication. It's how the thought of something exciting can give you butterflies in your stomach, while the thought of something dreadful might be gut wrenching. This type of communication can influence your decision making, such as going with your gut, so to speak. So, the brain gut connection is a relationship that your brain has with your digestive system, basically, how your brain affects your stomach and how your stomach affects your brain. And the cool thing about this relationship is that it's intertwined and vice versa. Depending on your mood, it can affect your appetite, and depending on your stomach, it can affect your brain and how you feel. Why do we like this? Well, this is fascinating for nerds like me, but initially it was thought that there were 100 million connections, but according to this current source, it's possible that there's up to 500 million neurons that are connected to our digestive system. With more than 500 million neurons, this system is one of the most complex systems in our entire body. In fact, we can call it the most complex neural network outside of our brain. It's unique because it can operate somewhat independently from our brain and our nervous system, which leads some scientists to call this our second brain, so to speak. The enteric nervous system is our second brain, and literally I cannot stop talking about this. I can talk about this all day. I can't really state how underrated and how underappreciated our digestive system is. There's a lot of emphasis when it comes to mental health, when it comes to muscles or aesthetics, but I mean, lately there's been an emphasis on gut health and whatnot, but that's barely scratching the surface. Here are a couple ways that the gut-brain connection influences our lives. Studies suggest that the gut-brain connection can influence, obviously, hunger and satiety, but also food preferences, cravings, food sensitivities and intolerances, gut motility, basically how your stomach moves, digestion, metabolism, mood, behavior, stress levels, pain sensitivity, cognitive function, even immunity. So basically, how can we use this to improve our lives? This is the boring stuff, but it's also the important stuff. So there's exercise, diet, stress management, but I'm going to focus really on stress management. From all the research that I've done, I can't stress how much stress affects the brain-gut connection. Like, that makes sense. I'll probably talk about this in another video as far as stress management, but for now, one of the most underrated hacks for gut health and kind of trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, which we'll talk about in another video, but one of the best ways to do that is actually through laughter. Children laugh way more than adults, up to like 400 times a day, compared to adults that only laugh like 15 to 17 times a day. And I also think it's important to mention that since experts don't fully know everything about the gut-brain connection, even though they don't know about it, you know your body and you know what stresses you, you know what relaxes you and calms you down and makes you feel better. You know when you get butterflies in your stomach, and you know when you get into survival mode. So I think one of the best proven ways is to notice when you're stressed, and also notice what triggers your stress, especially high stress, and to look for wholesome ways to relieve stress, which we want to talk more about this in the future in specific ways that our stomach affects our brain and that our brain affects our stomach, but this is just a brief little simple thing based on the research that I did. A quick disclaimer, most of us have relatively healthy guts, more or less, but there is a question that we have to ask, which is, what are common signs of an unhealthy gut?